الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وآله وصحبه أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters, my dear children, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today is Friday, the 3rd of July, and it reminds me that I arrived into this country exactly 50 years ago on the 3rd of July 1970, and it was Friday as well, which is very interesting. So I've been here 50 years, and during the last 50 years I have been studying the Quran almost on daily basis, alhamdulillah. I'm not claiming purity for myself, but this is a fact. So today, inshallah, I will continue the talk about Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam and his family. Starting today from verse 260, chapter 2, Al-Baqarah, the heifer or the cow. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإذ قال إبراهيم رب أرني كيف تحيي الموتى. In this verse, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam is asking Allah, please show me how do you give life to the dead. كيف تحيي الموتى. He did not say, can you give life to the dead? He did not challenge or question the power of Allah in giving life to the dead. He was trying to see something in front of his eyes. How does Allah give life to the dead? وإذ قال إبراهيم رب أرني كيف تحيي الموتى. Ibrahim said, oh my Lord, show me how do you give life to the dead. So Allah said, أولم تؤمن. Ibrahim, you did not believe? Ibrahim said, بلى ولكن ليطمئن قلبي. Of course I do believe, but I only want to satisfy my heart. You know, very similar to Prophet Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, when he said to Allah, قال ربي أرني أنظر إليك. Let me look at you. Oh my goodness, Musa alayhi salatu wasalam asked Allah to give him the power to be able to look at Allah. And Allah, of course, you know the rest of the story. Allah said, no way, you cannot see me. Let's go back now to Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. So Ibrahim said, قال بلى ولكن ليطمئن قلبي. Of course I do believe, but it's a matter of satisfying my heart. That's all. You know, some people say seeing is believing. قال فخذ أربعة من الطير فصرهن إليك. Take 4 birds, pick up 4 birds, different species, different types of birds, not the same. فصرهن إليك. Kill them, mince them, mix them together. And then what to do? ثم اجعل على كل جبل منهن جزءا. And then place a lump on the 4 mountains around you, a piece or a lump on each mountain. ثم ادعهن. Then you call them. You, Ibrahim, call them. يأتينك سعيا. They will come walking towards you, not flying, because if they were going to fly, they might mix with other birds. They will come walking towards you. وَاعْلَمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ. Be aware, be sure that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is exalted in might and He is so wise. Azizun Hakim. Right. Now, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, as you heard in the previous episodes, that he could no longer stay in his country. He had to leave. You can imagine he was exiled, let's say for the sake of argument. He left the country, he immigrated. He took his wife Sarah and his nephew Lut, and he went to the Holy Land. He went to Hebron. It's known now as Al-Khalil in the Holy Land, Hebron. And he settled there with Sarah. Sarah was getting very old. Both Ibrahim and Sarah were getting old. And there was a famine in the Holy Land. So they went to Egypt. And while they were there, they were met by the Egyptian king at that time, who gave them a great reception. And he gave a present to Ibrahim and Sarah. He gave them a beautiful Hajar, alayhi salatu wassalam. So on their return to the Holy Land, Ibrahim married Hajar, and he had a son from her, Ismail, alayhi salatu wassalam. In the Old Testament, they claim that Sarah became very jealous of Hajar, who was a beautiful young lady, and she was very jealous that Ibrahim has a son from Hajar, and she lived all her life having no children because she was aqim. She could not have children. And now she's very old. So she wanted to get rid of them. But in the Islamic tradition, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam to leave the Holy Land, or to travel from the Holy Land all the way to Mecca. And there was nothing there at that time, nothing at all, apart from the ruins of the Kaaba, and to leave his wife and his newly born son on their own there, and come back again or return to Hebron. In Surah Ibrahim, chapter 14, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us the following. Before I mention this, I want you to imagine the love which Ibrahim had for his new beautiful Egyptian wife, and the love he had for his newly born son. A man in his 80s had no child before, and now he has a beautiful boy and a beautiful wife. And then he had to be tested, because the love of these people are now in his heart. And Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, in the knowledge of Allah, was going to rebuild the Kaaba with his son Ismail. And Allah wanted to purify their hearts from any love which would bring them closer to this life rather than the hereafter. Now listen to this test. We know that Ibrahim has been through many tests before. But now it's a different test. So Ibrahim traveled all the way from the Holy Land all the way to Mecca. And subhanallah, at that time, how long did the journey take to come all the way down? And how tiring it was. A young woman, a baby, traveling all the way. A woman who came originally from a beautiful country, Egypt, with all the rivers and the green land and the history. And Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam left his wife there on her own with the son. Little bit of water, little bit of food. And he turned his back to them and he said, goodbye. And Hajar called him. Why are you leaving us here? Did Allah command you to do that? He said, yes. She said, then go. He will look after us. Oh my goodness. Look at the faith of this woman in the middle of the desert. No human being, no vegetation, nothing, no water. And he left them there, and she questioned him when he turned his back and he was about to depart. What did she ask for? Did Allah ask you to do this, or it was you? He said, Allah. She said to him, don't worry, in this case, go. He will look after us. SubhanAllah. How many women today can do that? from my experience, I don't think any woman today would do this. Okay, so we are not. You are, women, you are not like Hajar. Okay, thank you very much indeed. So Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam said a prayer, beautiful prayer. Verse 37, chapter 14, Ibrahim. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ربنا إني أسكنت من ذريتي بواد غير ذي زرع عند بيتك المحرم ربنا ليقيموا الصلاة. My Lord. Actually, he said ربنا, our Lord. إني أسكنت من ذريتي, I have made some of my offsprings dwell. أسكنت, dwell, to live. بواد غير ذي زرع, in a valley which has no vegetation, a valley which is dry, a valley with no water, nothing. عند بيتك المحرم, in the vicinity of your sacred house. Why? ربنا ليقيموا الصلاة. They are going to establish regular prayers. Subhanallah. فاجعل أفئدة من الناس تهوي إليهم. In Arabic, the word fu'ad means heart, and here أفئدة might mean hearts or groups of people. تهوي in Arabic again, either to fall in love or to come down from a height. Because you know Mecca, where the Haram is, where the Kaaba is at the bottom of the valley. So when people travel to it, they are coming down hills and mountains surrounding Mecca. So here in this verse, Ibrahim is saying, فَاجْعَلْ أَفْئِدَةً مِّنَ النَّاسِ تَهْوِي إِلَيْهِمْ. Please Allah, make the hearts of the people fall in love, or make a lot of people come to visit them. وَارْزُقْهُمْ مِنَ الثَّمَرَاتِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَشْكُرُونَ. And provide them from all fruits. Maybe they will be grateful. Maybe they will say thank you. لَعَلَّهُمْ يَشْكُرُونَ. رَبَّنَا إِنَّكَ تَعْلَمُ مَا نُخْفِي وَمَا نُعْلِنُ. Our Lord, you know well what we conceal in our hearts and what we reveal. وَمَا يَخْفَى عَلَى اللَّهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. Nothing is hidden from Allah. Neither in the earth nor in the heavens. I am sure the majority of us all know exactly what happened after that. Ibrahim left, Hajar on her own. She had no, of course, any means of communication. So now she is sitting under, according to the hadith, Ibn Abbas says, she sat under just a little shrub, something very small. Because there's no vegetation in that valley at all. Now she ran out of food and she ran out of water, and the child is crying and screaming, no food. The milk fully dried, so she cannot even breastfeed the baby. What did she do? Did she apply for social security? Did she sit on her bum waiting for heavens to bring on her food and water? No. She left the child there and she went up looking for help. And she saw two hills opposite each other. So she climbed the first one, As-Safa. And she looked around. She couldn't see anybody. Then she came down and she ran to the next one, Al-Marwa. She did the same. And she kept doing this journey in the heat, looking for help. And then she saw something is happening where her child was left. She went back to him and she heard sound and she was gasping. And she said, please help me. Please help. I want you to live the experience of this mother, of this great mother, of this great wife of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. It was an angel. And the angel said to her, don't worry. God will never let you down. Because your husband and your son will be rebuilding his house here. And the angel either, according to either hit the ground with his wing or with his heel, and the water gushed from the well of Zamzam. A miracle, great miracle. For all these years, from the time of Ismail and Ibrahim, and we are still drinking from the well of Zamzam. When Hajar saw the water bubbling and going out, she said, Zim, Zim. Keep it in, keep it in. That's why in Egypt we call a water bottle, we call it Zamzamiyya. This is because it keeps the water. So Zim, Zim. That's why the word Zamzam came from. Keep it in, keep it in. Prophet ﷺ was saying, if the wife of Ibrahim, if the mother of Ismail didn't do that, Zamzam would have been a huge lake over there. Anyway, now they have water. Water is the greatest commodity on our planet. Because if there is no water, no life. Certain birds started to fly over the two people there because there is water now. And this led to other tribes to come and dwell there and share the water with Hajar and Ismail. And that's why when we do Hajj or Umrah, we do the sa'i, which is 7 times between the two mountains or the two hills, As-Safa wal Marwa. Now when we do it, fully air-conditioned, cold water, marble floors, everything is even. Even if you cannot, you have what we call it, electrically operated little wheelchairs, which you can even hire if you can't walk. So try to remember, how did Hajar conduct herself, the way she listened to her husband and believed in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the way she went out looking for help. And what was the help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam used to visit them regularly after that. Okay, no problem. Now Ibrahim would come, would travel all the way from Hebron in the Holy Land, all the way down to Mecca, and he will spend quality time with his family. Now, one day, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam saw a dream, a vision, that Allah is commanding him to kill his own son, his only son at that time, Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam. Now, I want you to imagine again the love which been growing in the heart of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam toward this beautiful young boy and his mother. So beautiful. The man he loves them so much. What can he do? And now another test. This is a test which no one else in the whole world ever been through something like that. None of the prophets been through such a thing. Ibrahim loves his son so much, the only one. Ibrahim is too old now, and I'll give you all the details of the age and so on from the Old Testament in a minute. He saw a dream that he been commanded by Allah to slaughter his own son, to offer him as a sacrifice. He spoke to the son. He consulted with the son. Oh, my beautiful son, I have seen a vision that I have been commanded to kill you. What did the boy say? Oh, I will report you to social service. I will report you to child abuse. No. قال يا أبت افعل ما تؤمر. Oh, my father, do what you've been commanded to do. You will find me so patient, inshallah. Very interesting. Of course, If I say to my son, I have seen a vision, I'm going to kill you, let me kill you, of course, he has to report to me, to not to social service, to mental health hospital. This is something which only happened between Ibrahim and Ismail. And here, look at the obedience of the boy. Starting from verse 102, chapter 37, As-Saffat, and this is very important for every Muslim to read and understand, because there is a lot of confusion between the Old Testament, in its current version now, and the Quran. In Surah As-Saffat, we have a number of verses which is telling us about the sacrifice, but it did not mention the name of the son. It did not say Ismail. But immediately after that, we have the glad tidings, the good news, which were given to Ibrahim ﷺ, that he is having another son called Ishaq, Isaac. So the first one, there is no name. It doesn't say it is Ismail. But immediately after this, it says, and Ibrahim was giving the glad tidings of having another son. And I will tell you exactly where did this happen. But now let me concentrate on this point here. Starting from verse 102, chapter 37. فلما بلغ معه السعي قال يا بني إني أرى في المنام أني أذبحك فانظر ماذا ترى. When the son reached the age of serious work with him, قال يا بني إني أرى في المنام أني أذبحك. I saw a dream or a vision that I have been commanded to slaughter you, to kill you. فانظر ماذا ترى. What do you think, my son? قال يا أبت افعل ما تؤمر. My father, do whatever you have been commanded to do. إن ستجدني إن شاء الله من الصابرين. Inshallah, God willing, you will find me so patient. Okay? Your father in this age is going to kill with his own hands his only son, whom he loves dearly. I can't even comprehend it. Psychological, I can't take it. So painful. Just the idea itself is so painful. So now Ibrahim and Ismail are in Mecca, and they are walking towards the area where he is going to offer his son as a sacrifice. And Satan appears to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, are you mad? You are too old. You will never be able to have another child. What are you doing? Don't listen to what you have seen in your dream. It's a dream. It's a nightmare. So Ibrahim ﷺ picked up a pebble and threw it at Satan, and he was fully defeated. Satan appeared to the mother. Where was Hajar? Ibrahim, how dare you do that? He's my son. No. Hajar did not even object. In the same way she did not object when Ibrahim left them in the desert near the ruins of the Kaaba. The same thing happened. She did not object. Look at the qualities. Real wives. And she picked up a pebble, threw it at Satan, and that was it. Then Satan appeared to Ismail. A little Satan. That's why when you go to Hajj, you go for Hajj, the Satans are known by the size. Al-Jamra al-Kubra, Al-Jamra al-Sughra, Al-Jamra al-Wusta. Okay? So they have the big Satan, and then the middle Satan, and then the baby Satan. Because Satan, of course, comes to children as well. And then Ismail, alayhi salatu wassalam, did exactly the same. He picked up a pebble and threw. That's why part of the rites of Hajj, rites are I-T-S, rituals of Hajj, that we do the stoning of the Satan stations, emulating what Ibrahim and Ismail and Hajar did. In the same way we emulate what Hajar did when she went up and down As-Safa wal Marwa for 7 times. Okay? So everything now is becoming emulation of what these people did. To remember the great sacrifices they offered. فَلَمَّا أَسْلَمَا وَتَلَّهُ لِلْجَبِينِ. Verse 103, chapter 37. Ibrahim now had a knife in his hand, And he did not put Ismail on his back, he put him on his face. So there will be no eye contact between the father and the son, which might cause him to change his mind. No, he put him on his face. أَسْلَمَا وَتَلَّهُ لِلْجَبِينِ. So when they had both submitted to Allah and he had laid him prostrate on his forehead for sacrifice, and he had the knife in his hand and he went on his child's neck trying to cut it, the knife did not cut. The fire did not burn Ibrahim, did it? And the knife did not kill Ismail. وَنَادَيْنَاهُ يَا إِبْرَاهِيم. Allah called him, O Ibrahim. That's verse 104. وَنَادَيْنَاهُ أَيْ يَا إِبْرَاهِيم. Imagine the voice coming from heaven. قَدْ صَدَّقْتَ الرُّؤْيَا. You have fulfilled the vision. خلاص, that's it. إِنَّا كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Thus indeed do we reward those who do good, who do right. إِنَّ هَذَا لَهُوَ الْبَلَاءُ الْمُبِينُ. Surely this is the most difficult and the hardest test anyone can go through. إِنَّ هَذَا لَهُوَ الْبَلَاءُ الْمُبِينُ. This is a real trial, a real test. This is the harshest test anyone can go through. وَفَدَيْنَاهُ بِذِبْحٍ عَظِيمٍ. And we ransomed him with a momentous sacrifice. Great sacrifice came from heaven to replace Ismail alayhi salatu wassalam. Oh my goodness. I want you to imagine the effect of all this on the mental health of Ibrahim, Ismail and Hajar. Alhamdulillah, they were intact because they had faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They did not ask questions here at all. Ibrahim did not say to Allah, why would you ask me to kill my own son? I have no other children. He did not. Hajar did not say to him, I'm going back to Egypt, take my son, you are an older man, I will report to you, you have dementia or Alzheimer, go out of our lives, we don't want, no. And Ismail didn't say, Father, you are mad, you are crazy, goodbye. No. Now let me read, please, from the Old Testament to explain to you how old was Ismail, how old was Ibrahim, and who was the one who was sacrificed. Very quickly. Here, I'm going to read all the footnotes together, please, starting from footnote 4100 in the translation of Abdullah Yusuf Al. Note that the sacrifice was demanded of both Ibrahim and Ismail. It was a trial of the will of the father and the son. By way of trial, the father had the command conveyed to him in a vision. He consulted the son. The son readily consented and offered to stand true to his promise. If his self-sacrifice was really required. The whole thing is symbolical. Allah does not require the flesh and the blood of animal, much less of human beings. But He does require the giving of our whole being to Allah, the symbol of which is that we would give up something very dear to us if duty requires that sacrifice. Our version may be compared with the Jewish Christian version of the present Old Testament. The Jewish tradition, in order to glorify the younger branch of the family, descendant from Isaac and sister of the Jews, as against the elder branch, descendant from Ismail and sister of the Arabs, refers this sacrifice to Isaac, according to Genesis chapter 22, verses 1 to 18. Now Isaac was born when Ibrahim was 100 years old. Genesis 21, verse 5. While Ismail was born to Ibrahim when Ibrahim was 86 years old, according to Genesis 15, verse 16. Ismail was therefore, remember this please, Ismail was therefore 14 years older than Isaac. During his first 14 years, Ismail was the only son of Ibrahim. At no time was Isaac the only son of Ibrahim. Yet, in speaking of the sacrifice, the Old Testament says in Genesis 22 verse 2, and he said, take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom you love, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering. This slip shows, at any rate, which was the older version, and how it was overlaid, like the present Jewish records, in the interest of a tribal religion. The land of Moriah is not clear. It was 3 days' journey from Abraham's place, according to Genesis 22, verse 4. There is less warrant for identifying it with the hill of Moriah, on which Jerusalem was afterwards built, than with the hill of Marwa, which is identified with the Arab tradition about Ismail. In the biblical version, Isaac's consent is not taken. In fact, Isaac asks, where is the lamb for sacrifice? And is told that God would provide it. It is a complete human sacrifice like those of Moloch. In our version, it is as much a sacrifice by the will of Ismail as by that of Ibrahim عليه الصلاة والسلام. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين فاستغفروه إنه هو غفور رحيم. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا آمنا بما أنزلت واتبعنا الرسول فاكتبنا مع الشاهدين. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.